as tricky as a bee. Move the decimal in the divisor to the end. Now do the same movement to the dividend, my friend. Line up the decimal in the quotient just for me. Yeah, you're ready, so just let me see.
Hey guys, Mrs. Simonson here. Tonight we are working with decimal division. We have two objectives that are pretty straightforward. One is to divide decimals. The second is to solve math problems using decimal division. So let's get started. Decimal division isn't that much different than long division. It has just one additional step, and that's the decimal placement, which happens before you do all the steps of dividing, which remember are DMSB. Doing math shows brain power. Alright, so let's say I have 57 and 3/10 and I want to divide that by 6. When you have a dividend that's a decimal and a divisor that's a whole number, to place the decimal you just bring the decimal straight up into the quotient. So that's my first step. Then I go ahead and use DMSB to solve. 5 items to share among 6 groups, 0 shares, 0 times 6 is 0, 5 minus 0 is 5, bring down the 7. 57 items to share among 6 groups, 9 shares each, 9 times 6 is 54. 57 minus 54 is 3, bring down the 3. 33 items to share among 6 groups, that's 5 shares apiece. 33 minus 30 is 3. Now at this point, when we were doing long division in the pre-course module, we would have written our remainder as 3/6. But with decimals, you can't have remainders. You need to continue the decimal until you get a remainder of 0. That's called terminating. The way to create more digits to bring down is to add zeros. Adding a 0 to a decimal doesn't change the value of the decimal, because 3/10 and 30/100 are equal to each other. But doing this allows me to continue my decimal division. So I have 30 items to share among 6 groups. That would be 5 shares each, and 5 times 6 is 30. Now I have a remainder of 0. My decimal has terminated, and the answer, or the quotient, I want you to copy this problem into your notebook. 97 and 2/100 divided by 5. Press pause while you place the decimal, and then use DMSB to divide. Press play when you're ready to see the answer. Alright, I only brought you so far through this problem so I could illustrate something that a lot of kids usually have errors with. So I placed the decimal by bringing the decimal point straight up, and then I started the DMSB process. But once I got to the tens place, I actually terminated. I had no remainders left. And a lot of kids would just stop there, but notice you still have another digit that you haven't divided by. So make sure you remember to bring that 2 down. 2 items to share among 5 groups is 0 shares. 0 times 5 is 0, and you have 2 left over. And again, just like that problem I showed you first, that's where you're going to have to add a 0 to extend the decimal so that you can extend the division. 20 shares among 5 groups would be 4 shares each, and then it goes ahead and terminates. So now you know what to do when the decimal is part of the dividend, but let's talk about what to do when the decimal is the divisor. It just takes a little bit of prep work. When the divisor is a decimal, you simply move the decimal point however many places you need to until it becomes a whole number. In this case, we just needed to move it 1 place. But you need to do the same thing in the dividend. Now remember, if it's a whole number, like in our case, 6,372, you do have a decimal point sitting after the ones place. Because I moved it 1 place in the divisor, I need to move it 1 place in the dividend. So I'm going to just put a 0 place value marker, and I'm going to move the decimal point 1 place over. Now I have 2 whole numbers that I'm dividing, and so I can bring the decimal straight up as we did in the problem previous. And then I can go ahead and divide as normal using DMSB. So 6 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. Bring down the 3. 13 divided by 5 is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 13 minus 10 is 3. Bring down the 7. 37 divided by 5 is 7.
7 times 5 is 35. 37 minus 35 is 2. Bring down the 2. 22 divided by 5 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 22 minus 20 is 2. Bring down the 0. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. I've terminated the decimals, so my answer is 12,744.
All right, I want to go ahead and have you practice number 2. Remember to move that decimal in the divisor and balance that by moving the decimal in the dividend. Remember, your decimal in 4,907 is sitting right there. Press play when you're ready to check the answer. Just to up the level one more time, what if both your dividend and your divisor are decimals? You need to place the decimal first. So again, you never want to divide by a decimal. So you start there by moving the decimal place however many places you need in order for it to become a whole number. And in this case, I only need to move it once, but I need to balance that by doing the same in the dividend. And then once you have its new placement, you bring it straight up. Now you pretend that this is 685 divided by 5. So 6 divided by 5 is 1 share. 6 minus 5 is 1, and then bring down the 8. 18 divided by 5 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 left over, bring down the 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 7 times 5 is 35. And I have a 0 remainder, so the decimal has terminated. So remember, just moving those decimal points, starting with the divisor, and then balancing it with the dividend. Go ahead and solve practice number 3 in your math notebook. Make sure to place that decimal first, and then go ahead and do the division. Press play when you're ready to see the work. How can we apply decimal division to word problems? So let's say we have a store owner that has 7 11/100 pounds of candy, and she wants to put them into 9 jars. How much will each container have? And so we have a decimal as our dividend and a whole number as our divisor. So we can just bring the decimal point straight up. And then we go ahead and use DMSB to solve the problem. This would be 7, 63, 8, and 81, 9. So we can see she would use, each jar would have 79 hundredths of a pound. Okay. Now I want you to solve number 4 in your math notebook. When you're ready to check your work, press play. So tonight we worked on decimal division. We had 2 objectives: to divide decimals and to solve real-world math problems using decimal division. Review any part of this video, try some practice problems on your own, and when you feel ready, go ahead and take your quiz at Schoology. See ya!